and welcome. This is Physical and Financial Fitness with Patrick, but unfortunately, my whole family is sick. The whole fam's sick. So, I'm going to be chilling this morning, but I didn't want to miss you guys. Certainly won't be doing a big workout this morning. Everybody in my household is all under the weather, but I still want to make it for you guys and have a chat anyways, even though I'm not going to be doing much working out this morning, but that's okay. Let's see who we've got on here. All right. Awesome, guys. So excuse me for being a little bit under the weather. I don't know what went down, but the whole household got the flu or whatever the hell it is. So won't be working out today much. But what we want to talk about today, guys, I did want to not miss this because there is something pretty important that we can talk about at least. If you're on, just drop a 1 in the comments or say hi. Say hi so we can get the chat going this morning. Good morning. Just feeling a little under the weather. Not badly, though. I haven't gotten it bad, but it was like first the little one gets it. Then the little one passes it to the other little one. Then the other little one passes it to mom. Then usually gets to me. So fortunately, I'm not too bad. But, as it is, what we need to do is sometimes take a break. Our body tells us we need a break. So my body's saying, hey, man, take it easy. Your whole household is sick, and it's trying to chase after you. And you know how it is. We got to pump our body with soldiers, I like to say, soldiers that go fight off the the sickness. So all that vitamin C, all that good stuff I'm going to be slamming today. Good morning. I know that's that's Jamal. Hey, Jamal. Good morning. Pleasure. I think what we want to talk about today, or what I wanted to talk about today, was kind of on my heart a little bit yesterday, is the 7 essential resources that it takes to get a real estate deal done. Okay? And I wish I could learn how to put a pinned comment. Do this. I wish I put a pinned comment or a pinned question up there. But the coolest thing we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the 7 essential resources that it takes to do a real estate deal. Like I said, I'm feeling a little under the weather, so the workout and the stretch and all that probably not going to do too much today. And, I probably won't even stay on too long. So if you're on, good for you. Because, excuse me, some of this information that I'm about to go over was life-changing for me. So I'm going to talk about the 7 essential resources, gentlemen and ladies. There's, go lay out in the sun. I'm about to. I can't lay out there just yet this early in the morning, Dexter. And hi, Dexter. Welcome. It's been a minute. Outside, I would love to. I can go outside right now and it's beautifully sunny, but then I'm out there blabbing my loud mouth and all my neighbors are still sleeping. So, the vitamin D, the sun, the vitamin C, the electrolytes, and the fluids I'm going to be on today, because if you're just hopping on, my whole fam got the cold or got the flu or whatever. So the little kids got it and then passed it to mom, and the whole household's kind of like down and out right now. So I'm running away from it, and I'm trying not to get super sick myself, but there is something going around. So the more we can get ourselves healthy, pump ourselves with the vitamin C and all that good stuff, awesome. But it's just today I get to spend a little bit of more intimate time with you. Probably won't take an hour and a half, because we're not going to need that much time. I just want to get intimate with you guys about the 7 essential resources that are necessary to pull off a real estate deal. A lot of us are looking for financial freedom, and a lot of us get stuck. And a lot of us get stuck, I think, behind the money, meaning that we say, okay, well, I'd love to be a real estate investor. I'd love to flip a house. I would love to, own a rental property and have a tenant, paying me each month. Or I'd like to buy a mortgage note because you guys know I'm in the mortgage note space. But there's 7 essential resources needed to get a real estate deal done. And once somebody understands this philosophy, oh yeah, it's all good, NJ. It happens when you got little kids too, especially little kids hanging out with little kids and going to school and going to the jump park and all this other garbage, spreading their germs around. That's what happens when you got kids. Sometimes they bring it into the crib, but I didn't get it bad yet, so I'm trying to avoid it. But I would love to go outside and sit in the sun right now while talking to you guys. It'd be a nice setting, but I talk loud and it would bother the hell out of my neighbors who are probably still sleeping. Yeah, because I have little kids. No, it's not weird. I have 2 little kids. You're being weird, Bojack. You're being weird. But no, I'm not weird because I have kids. You're wild. It's hard to do, man, Bojack. It's hard to not hang out with your kids if you have kids. I love these idiots. So, guys, I would today for some knowledge and something that could be a little bit eye-opening, or at least open your mind a little bit, is of course that in these real estate deals, if you're gonna want to be an entrepreneur, if you're gonna want to break out of your 9 to 5, if you want to do this in a real estate related endeavor, what's up, Cool Wiz? If you want to become something different financially, you can master or understand the theory of that there's 7 essential resources that it takes to get a deal done. So like, let's say you're going to flip a house, okay? Or let's say the idea is to flip a house. Or the idea is to go out and buy a property that's going to pay rent. You're going to put a tenant in there. You want to be a landlord. Or let's say like me, you want to buy a mortgage note because you like the passivity of it and not all the responsibility of property ownership. The 7 essential resources needed to do a deal, guys, is something that everybody needs to understand. And I also want to break out a theory for you guys. I'm in California, Cool Wiz. I want to break out of my 6 to 5. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right? Some of us work longer than 8 hours too. So, that's what we're going to talk about today, guys. The 7 essential resources it takes to get a real estate deal done. A lot of people don't understand what the value or the importance of these steps are, and where you can come into play if you guys want to break out of your 6 to 5 or your 9 to 5 or whatever it may be. So let's go over these, guys, and we'll banter back and forth about it a little bit. But this should give you guys some hope at the end of this, today. It did me, and it kind of changed my life around in my level of understanding. A lot of things have to happen between these 2 ears here that we have, right? A lot of things have to happen between your 2 ears for things to happen in the physical realm, right? We have to understand things. We have to study things. We have to learn new things. We have to be outside our comfort zone. But let me tell you something. The 7 essential resources needed to do a deal, we're going to break them down. Who thinks they know what number 1 is? If I said, look, there's 7 essential resources needed to break down a successful real estate investment, okay? What do you think number 1 would be? Just curious what you would think. 7 essential resources needed to do a successful real estate investment or a successful note investment or whatever it is you want to invest in. But there's 7 essential resources needed. What do you think number 1 is? Curious. You. It could be you. It certainly is you, but it could be you. But Dexter, I think, what I'm leading at here is the essential resources we can literally break down. Someone said capital and research. Okay, I love it. That's Jamal. Dak Dog said, you need credit. You need credit. Well, this is going to be a really good one for you today, dog. Mindset. Yes, mindset. Absolutely. NJ. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. Dexter was kind of there by saying me, but listen, somebody, right? Because deals can be done in partnerships too, guys. You don't have to do everything on your own, right? And that's another lesson of today. But the 7 essential resources to do a real estate deal, number 1 is somebody has got to have specialized knowledge. Okay? And if you're just hopping on, guys, we're talking about the 7 essential resources to be able to do a real estate deal. And I'm just not working out very much today in the gym, guys. It's more financial talk because my whole family got sick and I'm trying to keep my body at rest and not go crazy. I don't want to get the flu that everybody's got in my house. But somebody's got to have specialized knowledge of the asset class. That should be obvious, but let's go over it. That's one of the essential resources, guys. Yeah, not necessarily a mindset thing. It is mindset, guys. I'm saying everything all happens between the two ears. You have to have the right mindset first, and you have to, start to think differently to do different things. We know that. And that's a lot of the stuff in the psychology we cover in the mornings here, usually, right? When I'm going over psychology. But this is real resources, actual physical resources in the physical world. What is needed to get a real estate deal done? Okay. What's up, 16? So specialized knowledge is number one. Somebody has to have specialized knowledge of the asset class. So if somebody wants to go out there and invest in apartment buildings, maybe doing syndications. If somebody wants to invest in apartment buildings, doesn't that individual have to have some specialized knowledge of that asset class? The specialized knowledge of apartments, how they work, how they're valued, how they're bought and sold, values by way of collecting rents, how to use a property management company to run an apartment building. And so, just to say I want to invest out there into an apartment building, not everybody can do that because you have to first start with it. You have to have specialized knowledge, guys. And as we run down the 7 essential resources, you're going to see why there's some psychology to this and why I'm trying to give you guys hope that every single person on this call right now could own a real estate deal this year. Every single person on this call right now could own a small multifamily building by the end of this year. Every single person on this call could own a couple mortgage notes in their portfolio by the end of this year. So I'm just saying all of us all of us can do this. So anyways, this is it. So number one is specialized knowledge. It's fair to say that if you want to go buy an apartment building, you're going to have to know all about apartment buildings and how they generate capital and so on and so on. So the education piece starting off is obviously necessary. Okay. So specialized knowledge, number one. Do you have the time to study and to read the books and to go to the podcast or to pay a mentor or to join a school or to do whatever it takes to get your expertise and your specialized knowledge of that asset class up to par? Okay. Someone has got to, even if it's in a partnership deal, right? Sometimes there's partnerships in real estate deals and there's 2 or more people involved in the deal. One person, at least, somebody, okay, and it could be you, has got to have specialized knowledge. Number one. Okay, that's simple. Okay. Now, what about number 2, though? If there's 7 essential resources to pull off a real estate deal, what about number 2? Number 2 is deal flow. So once somebody has the specialized knowledge of this asset class that you want to venture into, then somebody's got to have deal flow, right? Deal flow, meaning if you're going to get into the apartment investing space, you better have some sort of team or some sort of system put together or something. You got to have access to deal flow. Where are you going to find these great deal apartments to buy, right? In my case, since I buy mortgage contracts, where the hell do you go and find a steady flow of these mortgage contracts to purchase? So after specialized knowledge, what if you can't get credit or can't own a property? Well, I'm about to get into that, Dion. It's a good question. It's a good question, right? And that's why I'm going down in this order, okay? Because number 1, somebody has to have specialized knowledge of the asset class. Fair enough. That should be simple and logical to understand. But of course, once someone has this specialized knowledge, or shall we say, immense amounts of expertise in the asset class, then number 2, you're going to need somebody who has access to deal flow. So if I'm going to buy a note, where the hell do you find these notes to buy? Who do you know that's selling notes? How do you figure out where to get these notes and how do you get them at a good deal and so on? Somebody has to have that knowledge of where to get the deal flow. Okay. If it's apartment buildings, and of course, somebody has to have the deal flow. Where are you finding these, off-market apartments for sale? How are you sourcing your deals? So number 1 is specialized knowledge. Number 2 is deal flow. Thank you, J-Man. I appreciate you typing that in for me. And as Dion said, what if you can't get credit and you don't own any property? That's a good question, right? And so we're going to address that, going over the 7 essential resources of what it takes to do a successful real estate investment, okay? So number 1, specialized knowledge. Number 2, deal flow. Someone has got to have access to these deals, guys. And it can't just be the normal sources. You can't go to to Zillow and the MLS and this kind of stuff, okay? Someone's going to have specialized deal flow. Where do you get these great off-market apartment deals? Where do you get these great off-market single-family homes that you can get at a discount that aren't just completely thrashed? Where do you find these good first position and second position performing, non-performing note deals? Where do you find this stuff? Yeah, you see? A lot of people tell me, hey, I see you're in notes. Where the hell do you buy a note from? There you go, okay? So somebody has to have access to deal flow. That's number 2, okay? Number 3 is due diligence processes and tools, okay? So the third essential component needed to do a successful real estate investment, y'all, is due diligence systems and tools. Because yes, you may have some specialized knowledge, or someone in the deal needs to have the specialized knowledge. Someone in the deal has got to have deal flow. You have to figure out where you're going to get this wonderful investment, wonderful apartment, wonderful note, wonderful whatever. Where the hell do you find these things? Okay. Someone's got to have that deal flow. And then the due diligence systems and practices, someone's got to have that in place, y'all. You can't, without due diligence systems and without due diligence practices put in place for whatever asset class you're delving into, whether it be apartments, houses, notes, whatever it may be, without the due diligence tools and the due diligence processes, we're dead, guys, because this is how people get caught in losing money, okay? People get caught losing money in these deals. We've seen right now, guys, what's going on? Right now, what's going on is that a lot of people got into syndications. I don't know if you realize that, but over the past, say, 3 to 5 years, say maybe even 6 or 7 years, syndications have become extraordinarily popular. More people started teaching classes on it and stuff like that, and it got more popularized, right? You guys have heard the, if you're going to get into real estate, don't own a single family home right away. Let me show you a smarter way. Let's get you into multifamily right away, okay? So a lot of people have been pitching all that. And then, yes, people get some specialized knowledge in that asset class, and that's what they're taught. And then they get, the access to the deal flow, sometimes from the coach or the organization. They get access to deal flow, but they are amateurs and they don't have a lot of experience. And so they only know the basics of due diligence that we're taught. And they don't really know how to put together a due diligence system and tools to help with due diligence and those kinds of things. And so it's obviously very important, guys. So after we go specialized knowledge, that somebody in the deal has to have, could be you, then we go down to the deal flow. Somebody in the deal to make it work right. Somebody has got to have access to deal flow, and maybe off-market deal flow, and things that aren't just being competed upon by every other blood-sucking real estate investor in the whole damn marketplace. So somebody's got to have access to deal flow. And then number 3, we've got due diligence tools and systems, okay? You got to know how to do your due diligence, and the tools and systems means that sometimes for due diligence, you're going to have connections and relationships with third-party vendors. You're going to have relationships with title companies and real estate attorneys and all this other stuff, guys. So in order to perform due diligence properly on one of these assets that somebody has specialized knowledge for and access to good deal flow, well, now you've got the knowledge and you got the deal flow, but now people are putting deals in front of you. And how in the hell do you decide what kind of apartment to buy and where and how to run the numbers and do all this stuff, okay? So the due diligence tools and the due diligence systems, and sometimes even relationships with third-party vendors that help with due diligence processes in certain ways, someone's got to have that. Someone's got to have that in place, okay, for this all to work. And that was number 3. And we'll open it up for questions, and I'll banter back and forth with you guys in a little bit after I run through this list. But again, talking about the 7 essential resources it takes to get a real estate deal done. And there's a whole point to this at the end, guys, and we're going to summarize it. And I'm going to tell you what I mean and why I believe all of us have the ability just this year, all of you, everybody on this call within this year has the ability to accumulate a couple notes in their portfolio and some passive cash flow. Somebody has the ability to buy a small multifamily apartment building. Somebody has the ability to get into whatever this year. All of us do. So I hope that you listen till the end and I summarize this all up for you. Okay. Oh, thanks, NJ. I need rest. Yeah, I'm not going to be working out this morning, and I'm not even stretching. As you guys can see, I'm just sort of sitting here in my garage gym where I have the ability to talk loudly and not interrupt the whole family or my neighbors. But yeah, I am resting, and I appreciate the well wishes. Yeah. So family kind of got sick. Kids get sick first, pass it to mom and dad. You know how it goes. Just goes around the household. You know who never gets sick is the damn cat. Freaking guy. Never gets sick. I'm just kidding. So, guys, we're down to this 7 essential resources it takes to do a real estate deal. And at the end, I'm going to summarize it, and you're going to realize why I'm trying to give you guys hope in the fact that we can all do a real estate deal this year. This year. And you may be thinking that's far-fetched, but no, it isn't. You guys can do a real estate deal this year or a note deal this year. You guys can do something this year before Christmas time in order to start leveling up your net worth and leveling up your passive cash flow. So what we went over first was specialized knowledge. That's number 1. Number 2, deal flow. Number 3, due diligence systems and practices put in place. Okay. And we were talking about just even in due diligence, some of the third-party relationships one person will have to have in order to help with the due diligence process, but that brings us right to third-party relationships, okay? So someone's going to have third-party relationships. And what I mean by that is I mean attorneys, real estate attorneys, notaries, due diligence experts, all sorts of different third-party, right? In my business, with a note investing business, when I buy the real estate paper, I don't buy the property. We need a licensed loan servicing company, right? A licensed loan servicing company is super important in what I do because every time I buy a loan, every time I buy a mortgage note as an investment, I onboard that mortgage note asset with a loan servicing company. Okay. So some people don't even know what a loan servicing company is, but someone's got to have relationships with these third-party vendors, real estate attorneys, perhaps title companies, real estate agents that can do assessments around the United States or broker price opinions, things like this. Somebody's got to have these third-party relationships to make a real estate deal go good. Okay. Number 5 is the legal support. But not only the legal support, but the legal documentation. So most people don't know to buy a mortgage note. You know, what I do to buy a mortgage note, what documentation is needed? What paperwork do we use to do this? You know, how do you do this? How do you buy one? Okay. So that legal support with the legal documents and things like that is very important. And if you're just hopping on, guys, talking about the 7 essential resources that it takes to get a good real estate deal done and how everybody on this call, anybody who watches this, can do a real estate deal this year, could do a note deal this year. There's nothing stopping you. When we go down the 7 essential resources needed, I'm going to show you why there's nothing stopping you, okay, to do this and start to change your life financially. So number 5 was legal support, and legal documents, guys. You have to understand there is a lot of paperwork when assets are acquired, and there's things that need to be notarized. There's things that need to be recorded in county record. Things need to be signed by you, the buyer. Things need to be signed by. So, guys, it's just how to understand the legal structure of it, having legal support, legal advice, okay, and also legal documentation to paper these things up. Somebody in the deal's got to have access to that. Makes sense? So let's run them down, guys. Number 1, specialized knowledge of the asset class. Number 2, deal flow. Somebody's got to know where to get these deals off market. You can't be competing with every other clown in the real estate market or note space to buy the same darn assets. You got to find deal flow. Someone's got to have that. Due diligence systems and practices put in place so that when you guys get a deal on your plate, you know how to go through it, go through the numbers and go through the logistics of the deal to find out if it's a ripe one or if it's a poor deal. Not every deal pencils out properly, guys. So somebody's got to know the due diligence. That's number 3. Number 4 is having third-party relationships. Third-party relationships with vendors, third-party relationships with loan servicing companies, real estate attorneys, real estate agents, whatever it takes in your asset class with your specialized knowledge, you're going to need those third-party resources. And then number 5 is legal resources. You have to have legal advice, legal counsel. You have to have supporting legal documentation. You have to know what paperwork is needed to buy an apartment building, what paperwork is needed to buy a mortgage note. How do you fill the paperwork out? What, you know what I mean, guys? This is definitely necessary, 100%. So that's one of the resources. I love it, NJ. That's how it goes. Your damn dogs don't get sick, but the family does, right? It's so funny. And thank you, J-Man, for typing it out for me in the comments. I appreciate that, brother, so that people can follow along. That's awesome of you. Okay. And now number 6. Let's go over number 6, guys, in the 7 essential resources it takes to get a deal done. All right. Number 6 is exit strategy. Okay. And this is something that people don't really, I think, take as something too important. Okay. But when we go into an asset, or when I go into an asset, I'm already looking at all the possible outcomes of what could happen to me if I make this investment. Not just the best scenario and hope for that and just hope the worst doesn't happen. No, 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 no. If we're going to buy a real estate investment, I'm going to buy a note deal. And going through it, I'm looking at all the potential pitfalls, all the potential exit strategies I may have with that asset, doing all the calculations on those exit strategies, and making sure that if the best thing happens, obviously we high five and click our heels to the bank. But if the worst thing happens, what does that look like to you? Okay? Because as Murphy's Law states, if it can happen, it will happen. Okay? If it can happen, it will happen. And so I want to, hope for the best, of course, but prepare for the worst. And so somebody in going into this deal, whether it's a single family home, a note investment, apartment deal, somebody is going to need to have the exit strategies, the potential pitfalls and all the possibilities calculated out, and understand the possible exit strategies, and actually have a plan prior to purchasing the asset, prior to purchasing the damn asset, having an exit strategy in place already, knowing all the pitfalls, knowing this is the best, this is more likely, and this is the worst of what can happen if we buy this asset. And then looking at those exit strategies, who has that specialized knowledge to go through the numbers and to go through the strategies, to go through the pitfalls, to go through, and then understand at the end of the day what that entails as far as exit strategy and actual profit. My thing is, of course, that if I go through the best, the average, and the worst case scenario in a deal, and the worst case scenario still doesn't lose me any money, it's probably a good deal, right? So there we have it. And I thank J-Man for typing it down there in the comments, where it is the 7 essential resources needed. And we started with number 1, which is specialized knowledge of the asset class. Number 2, which is deal flow. Someone's got to have to know where to get an off-market apartment building or a rental house or something like that that's not just on Zillow. Somebody's going to have due diligence systems and practices put in place so that when we start to look at these assets as opportunities, we can start to break them down to find out what is good and what is bad as far as opportunity. We don't want to, buy into things just because they're shiny objects and they land on our desk and somebody says, hey, you want to buy an apartment building, I heard. So here's a 8-unit apartment building right here. You want to buy it? Well, maybe not. Okay, let's see if it pencils out. Third-party vendors are huge. Relationships with third-party vendors in your industry and whatever asset class you're choosing is super important, you guys. You're going to need BPO agents, title report agents, notaries, these kind of third-party vendors. Necessary someone has those relationships. The 5th is legal counsel, legal advice, legal documents, okay? A lot of times people will do these deals because they have some knowledge they learned on a YouTube video or in someone's class or whatever, and they come out all confident and do this deal. And oftentimes they do the paperwork wrong. Okay, so definitely can't do that. And then you have your exit strategies. And of course, my theory is for everybody to understand is I hope somebody has enough specialized knowledge to calculate all the exit strategies and all the possibilities of what can happen in this real estate investment. Okay. And knowing the best, the average, and the worst case scenarios that can happen. Because what can happen will happen. It's like Murphy's Law. You're never going to avoid disasters, and investment is always risky. So how can you have such good exit strategies calculated and already thought about and talked about with anybody involved in the deal to where it looks like, it's a win-win situation with no matter what happens? Now you guys get it. Now that we've broken this down, what do you guys think then is the 7th essential resource to get a deal done that we haven't mentioned yet? We got specialized knowledge. We got deal flow. We got due diligence systems and practices. We got third-party relationships. We got legal advice, counsel, support, documentation. And we have exit strategies. What else do you think is needed to do the deal? This is the most obvious one probably everybody wanted me to start with. It's a simple one. Definitely ain't going to buy nothing without it. And what do you think the seventh essential resource is? You're right, it's money. It's money. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do one of these deals if you ain't got no money. Straight up. It takes money to do an investment, right? Action, yes. Action, yes. And we're going to talk about what that action is for most people. You need money, okay? So break those down for me, J-Man. Break those down for me, man. Let's put the whole 7 essential resources list in the chat. And not credit. Could be credit. That's a way to access some money, perhaps. Okay? But we're going to talk about this after we break it down. So help me out, J-Man. Let's throw that last one in there. Put the 7 essential resources list up there in the chat for everybody to see. With number 1 being specialized knowledge, number 2 being deal flow, number 3 being due diligence systems, number 4 being third-party relationships, 5 being legal support and documentation, 6 being exit strategies, and then 7 being money. And then 7 being money. Yep, so 5 and then 6 is exit strategies and 7 is being money. So guys, this is the 7 essential resources needed to do a deal. Now let's break this down a little bit so you guys understand something here. And this was taught to me by a mentor of mine, and it just started to open my mind up about how these deals get done. And how are you always seeing these people that are saying, oh, you missed 6? Okay, 6 is exit strategies. So exit strategies, and then 7 is money. So guys, those are the 7 essential resources that need to be in place to get a real estate deal done, or to get an apartment building purchased, or to get a note deal done, or any of those, right? So when we're talking about real estate related endeavors that can add net worth and that can start to add passive cash flow to your life and start to change your life financially, right? By acquiring assets. We've always heard that, guys. We've heard, let assets pay for our lifestyle. Not our time and energy at work or our time and energy working for somebody else to pay for our lifestyle. Because then every time we get a pay raise and every time we get a new job and every time we always extend our lifestyle up and we end up living paycheck to paycheck at just a different level. Does that make sense? A nicer car, a nicer house, paycheck to paycheck, right? We don't talk politics on here. Let's see. I guess I'll just call you Tradition. So Tradition, don't talk much politics on here, my man. We're talking fitness and physical fitness and financial fitness. And today we're talking about trying to help people understand how we can all get a real estate deal done. We can all get a note deal done. We can all do this, and we can all do this year, and we can start building. You guys can start building. What's up? What's up, Cabot? How you doing? Good to see you guys. But like the 7 essential resources needed to do a real estate deal. There's a lot of you on here that say, well, I wish by now I would have owned some real estate. I wish by now I would have maybe had some passive cash flow coming in my life. I wish by now I would have done this, that, or the other. What about political fitness? That'd be maybe I'll do a specific show about that. Not today, because I have a specific subject I'm talking about, but maybe I'll do that, guys. It's fun. Maybe I'll do something like that. We can morph this show however we want to morph this show. But today I want to stick to this subject because the family's sick and the cold or the flu or whatever is trying to chase me down. I want to give you guys some good nuggets. I'm not working out. I'm not stretching today. I'm just kind of, trying to chill and not get sick with the rest of my whole household. But I wanted to still come on here, guys, even though I didn't really feel like it this morning. I want to still come on here, guys, because this is knowledge that changed my life. And so I figure if I can help you guys, maybe it can change your life too. So we have the 7 essential resources. How much money are we talking about for number 7? J-Man, that's the cool thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's what I'm going to get to right now, boss. So we're going to summarize this thing right on up, okay? So if we have the 7 essential resources needed to pull off a real estate endeavor, well, it's buying a small multifamily, buying a rental property, flipping a house, buying a mortgage note like what I do. 7 essential resources needed. Specialized knowledge, number 1. Deal flow, number 2. Somebody has to have due diligence practices and systems in place, number 3. Number 4, third-party relationships. There are vendors and people that need to help you with these transactions. Number 5, legal support. Legal support, legal advice, legal documentation. There's paperwork that is very necessary in these deals that needs to be spot on, and you can't just write it up on a napkin. Number 6 is knowing all the potential pitfalls, being able to calculate all the exit strategies prior to purchase, so you know what you're getting into. And then someone's got to have the money. So those are the 7 essential resources to get a real estate deal done. Now, where I'm going with this with you guys is this. If someone has number 7, which is the money, okay? If someone has number 7, which is the money, but they don't have the other 6, can they do a deal? Yes or no? Put yes or no in the comments. If someone's stacked with cash and they have a bunch of money, but they don't have any of the other 7 essential resources to get the deal done, is the deal going to get done? Put yes or no in the comments. What do you say? What do you think? Someone just has a bunch of money. They don't have specialized knowledge. They don't have access to the good deal flow. They don't have due diligence practices set up. They don't have third-party relationships. They don't have legal support, and they don't have any exit strategies. They have no idea what they're doing, but they have money in the bank account. Someone said, yes, Dexter. I say, no, they cannot. Absolutely not. And I'm not putting here a trick question, guys. I know you guys say, yes, a JV can be done. Yes, and we're alluding to this right now. Yes, a JV can be done, but they can't do a deal. They would need somebody else. The person with the money would need somebody else, wouldn't they? They can't do it. They cannot pull a deal off. They cannot just with money. But they would need someone else in the deal. Somebody mentioned a joint venture partnership in here. Good call there. But the person with the money would need someone else, wouldn't they? They would have to need somebody else to do the deal. Without the specialized knowledge, without the access to the deal, without the due diligence practices in place, without knowing how to calculate exit strategies, without knowing how to manage the asset, just because they have a boatload of money doesn't mean shit. They can't do squat. Now, if they do a JV and they JV with someone else, yes. If they JV with somebody else that has all that, then it could get done. Right? Because now the 7 essential resources are there in the deal. But if someone has the money, which is most of our biggest problems, guys, the reason why you're saying you can't get nothing done is because you ain't got no money. Bullshit. So we're going to go over this. And this is why these 7 essential resources are very important. Okay? Because we realize, well, first of all, I had a guy come to me with more than $1 million. He sold his business, and a gentleman came to me about 2 years ago in my community, because we have Note Investor University where we teach all this stuff, right, with notes. We don't buy flipping houses, and we don't do the real estate game anymore. We buy the paper. We teach people how to do that. So I had somebody come to my community and had like over $1 million. They sold their business, had over $1 million bucks. And they wanted to invest their money into mortgage notes because they had enough of basic education to realize that it was an awesome asset class. So they wanted to invest in these notes, and they came into my community with over $1 million. Well, where do you think they were with that $1 million in buying notes? They were completely stuck, and they weren't going to buy any damn notes in the marketplace because they didn't have any of the 7 essential resources. They only had one of the 7 essential resources needed to do a real estate deal. They only had one. If you only have one of the 7 essential resources to get a damn deal done, the deal ain't going to get done. So I want you guys to start to realize that right away, is that the money and having a boatload of your own money is certainly not the superpower. Okay? So in the 7 essential resources needed to do a deal, money's only one of them. When people come to me with tons of money, they're coming to me with tons of money because they're coming to me for education, because they don't know how to deploy that tons of money they have and do it properly, safely, and legally. Okay? So just with a bunch of money, guys, it doesn't happen. Now, you can do, like you guys said, a joint venture partnership, but that means, again, somebody else has to come into the relationship that has all the other essential resources. Yes, JV means joint venture, correct, not junior varsity. JV means a joint venture. Two people coming together as a joint partner, joint venture, 2 different people coming together to do a deal together, right? A joint venture partnership, what we're talking about. So the person with the money cannot do it on their own. Can't do it just because they have the money. They need someone else. that has the rest of the 7 essential resources. So then, can we just take that conversation and just flip it backwards or just flip it sideways, exactly this whole track we're on? So then my question to you is, what if somebody had the other 6 essential resources but didn't have the money? Question there too. Let's flip it upside down. Somebody has specialized knowledge of the asset class. Somebody has access to the deal flow. Somebody has due diligence practices and systems set up. Somebody has third-party relationships. Somebody knows all the legal and has the docs and then even knows all the exit strategies, how to calculate it and everything. We're talking about a real expert here in the asset class. But this real expert doesn't have any money. Can they go out and buy a deal? NJ, hey, thanks for the well wishes. Family's going to get better. All good. We got the weekend. We got the sunshine. By my Monday show, I'm going to be back in action, energetic, and back to lifting again. But thank you and appreciate the well wishes, NJ. So yeah, guys, no, it doesn't happen there either, does it? It doesn't happen there either, does it? If somebody has all the specialized knowledge and knows where to get these things and research them and do all this stuff and everything like that, the 6 out of the 7 essential resources, without the 7th, which is the money to go do the deal don't get done there either. Got it? So there oftentimes needs to be, as was mentioned in here for JV partnerships and so on, there's oftentimes relationships that occur between people that are willing to take the time to get the 6 of the 7 essential resources to do the deal. There's that individual that's very, very important in this game. But most people aren't willing to take all the time, maybe pay for mentorship, maybe take classes, read books, show up on podcasts, take notes, do this, do that, do this, do that, to learn all of the 6 essential resources needed to do a deal, such as the specialized knowledge, the deal sourcing, the due diligence, the exit strategies and all that good stuff. It's the rare person that wants to be the operator that's willing to learn all that stuff. It's more common, even, wouldn't you say, that people have money to invest. It's more common that people have IRAs and 401ks. It's more common that people have money to invest from running their business, owning their car washes or whatever, people owning the couple taco shops they've got. They're making good money. They're business professionals. They make good money, but they're busy running their business that makes them the good money. They're busy running the taco shops. They're busy running the car washes. They're busy running the dental practice. So a lot of these people, they have the money. They are the people that have that 7th essential resource, but they don't have the time to go out and get all the specialized knowledge and to know all this stuff and to make the relationships with third-party vendors and to know the lingo and the language and to understand exit strategies and all this other crap. They don't have the time to do that because they're busy running their business, which has made them the money. So you get it, guys. Where I'm going with this is that what really becomes more valuable? What really becomes more valuable? Is it the money? Yeah, we know we need money. We know we need to have money there to do a deal. We know we need to have money there to buy an apartment building. We know we need to have money there to buy a property and turn it into a rental. We know we need to have money to go out there and buy a mortgage note in the mortgage note space. So yes, the money is one of the 7 essential resources. But as we discussed, guys, people that are sitting on a lot of money without any of the other knowledge can't do crap. They're subject to going and putting their money in their Robinhood account and letting some financial advisor diversify it across the stock market because you don't have to know anything to do that. Okay? So my thing is this, guys. Oftentimes it's going to take more than one person in a deal. Oftentimes a deal's not going to be done just with yourself. And that sometimes we get stuck there. Sometimes we get stuck there and thinking that we have to be able to do all of it. We have to know we have to have all those 7 essential resources ourselves to go get this deal done. And it's not the truth, is it? And many a times what you're going to find is that the specialized knowledge, guys, which is harder to create, to be honest with you, harder to create, takes more time. People have to learn things outside the comfort zone. People have to make relationships with people in a new industry. People have to make relationships with third-party vendors. People have to, to be the operator and to be somebody who has most all of those 7 essential resources dialed in is the hard part. It's not hard for some people out here to have 50,000 or 100,000 or money to invest into deals because they've been working hard at a job or running a business for years and they made good money. They saved a little, they contributed to a 401k or an individual retirement account, blah blah blah. So dime a dozen that you can find people out here in the world that have the ability to invest $50,000 into a good deal. Dime a dozen. But it's very rare you stumble upon a person that has all of these essential resources dialed in. That's a different beast. So if I went out today, and I tried to find an individual human being on the planet that has the ability to invest $50,000 with me in one of my note deals, I could find somebody today. You could too. You just have to ask and go work on it. But today you could find somebody that if the deal was right, they'd have $50,000 to invest. So if I said all you guys could find a $50,000 investor today, that means that a $50,000 investor is a dime a dozen. They're all around us. But what's not all around us are experts, real experts that have taken the time to gather all of these essential resources. It's like driving a semi-truck in the icy mountains. That's right, Dex. Hope and pray, slip and slide. But so you guys are understanding, I hope my point here today is this. The money oftentimes gets attracted to the operator and the deal they're presenting. Let me say that one more time. The money oftentimes gets attracted by the individual expert that's presenting the deal and the deal itself, right? How ripe is the deal itself? Sometimes the deal itself sells the deal. It doesn't matter who's behind it, okay? But I'm telling you guys right now, with the 7 essential resources needed to make a deal go good, if I were you, I would concentrate on the first 6. And I would try to knock those things out and get good at those things as quickly as possible. So if you're going to get into single family real estate, multifamily real estate, mortgage note investing like I do, it doesn't really matter what lane you want to pick. But my suggestion to you guys, if you really want to start changing your life and you really want to start setting yourself financially free, not only rock up your the amount of net worth that you accumulate for yourself, because net worth is how people judge one's wealth, right? What's your net worth? Okay, well, we want to increase our net worth. We want to have assets that pay for our lifestyle. Okay? And a lot of you will say, well, yeah, that'd be all nice to go and acquire an apartment building. That'd be nice to go and buy some notes. And I get it. That'd be great. But how I don't have any money. And I know some people were on here talking about credit. Some people were on here talking about those kinds of things. And what I'm talking about, guys, is there's a lot of human beings around the United States. Maybe not in your own backyard or your own friends and family circle, but there's a lot of human beings out there that do have the ability to invest money, and they are looking for a good deal. They are busy running their dental practice or whatever it is that they do in life, and they are looking for an operator, someone who knows how to. Somebody who has the specialized knowledge in the deal flow and the ability to do the due diligence and has third-party relationships and knows how to get a deal across the board. That person becomes very important to those who do have money. Okay? So I hope the message hit you well today, guys, that the money is sort of the least important factor in doing one of these deals. The money has got to be there to buy an apartment building. The money has to be there to buy a single family home, turn it into a rental. The money has to be there, yes. But do you have to have the money? Is the money the most valuable thing? We all get stuck sometimes in saying, I wish I could go out and do some of these things I'm seeing all these other people do. I wish I could go stack a rental portfolio. I wish I could buy some real estate. I wish. Well, the wishing ain't going to make it happen, but I tell you what will make it happen. Dude is, what does it say, Denny? Dude is on here trying to get attention. What are you talking about, man? God, these idiots in here. Obviously, you don't know my show. You don't know why I come live in the mornings like this, bro. But, maybe look at some of my content before you come commenting like a fool in my comments. I have a pretty straight up cool audience that's here to learn about physical fitness and financial fitness. And we talk together as good people. And so when you numbnuts come in here and make ridiculously stupid comments, it just makes no sense. It shows either your immaturity or your age. You probably are a little kid. So anyway. Well, I digress, but back onto this. You guys realize then if you are the person that takes the time to gain the specialized knowledge in the asset class, you're the person that takes the time to find out and make relationships where you can access deal flow, You're the person that actually learns the due diligence processes and how to break these assets down, run the math, run the issues, and see if this one is a good deal or not. You got to have third party relationships with legal, attorneys, due diligence experts, helpers, title companies, real estate agents. This takes time and effort to build these relationships. It's very valuable to a deal. Legal support, legal documentation, notarization, recordings in county records. This is all going to be necessary. Somebody has to calculate all those exit strategies and be prepared for any pitfalls, right? I don't know what to tell you guys. Some people are stupid. It's okay, though. You can't fix stupid. It's all right. But so, yeah, guys, that's that. And then the money obviously has to be there. Money's very important, obviously. I don't want to belittle that. But what I'm trying to tell you is that the six out of the 7 essential resources quite outweigh the value of the money in the deal, if that makes sense to you. Those first 6 of the 7 essential resources highly outweigh the 7th, which is the money needed to do the deal. Okay? So if we've got specialized knowledge, we get the deal flow down, we make relationships with people, we start to get into the communities and groups, or maybe a mentorship program where they're connecting us with the proper third-party vendors, and you're building this system, the system which will allow you to go out there and make one of these deals successful. When you can prove yourself as somebody that has the expertise, has spent the time to get the education, has built these systems and knows what to do, even if you're going out there to do your first deal, people can see that you're prepared to do your first deal. Whereas a lot of times people don't want to be the guinea pig because they're like, well, how many deals have you done? I don't want to do a deal unless you've done one. How many deals have you done? And, a lot of people get stuck there, and it's like, well, what do I tell them? They're not going to want to do my first deal with me. Yeah, they will. Guys, if you've taken the time to get 6 of the 7 essential resources, you've figured out how to source a great deal, you've run the math, you've run the exit strategies, and you're able to present the opportunity to investor with money, there's a very good chance, if you have gotten your expertise up to a certain place, and you are showing them a very good deal that has solid numbers, you've gone through all the pros and the cons, you've calculated out all the exit strategies, they can see their risk assessment, they can see their profit margin possibilities, and they like and trust you because they see that you've put in the time and the work to do this. Oh, isn't that wild how now some people invest money with you, and now you've got all the 7 essential resources in play to go out and do one of these deals, to go buy a small multifamily building and manage it, to go and buy a single family home to turn it into a rental, to do a house flip, to buy a portfolio of mortgage notes. The 6 out of the 7 essential resources outweigh the money. Outweigh the money. I don't know who this clown is in here, gents, but that's all right. That's all right. Sometimes we have some clowns that come on in here in the comments, and I have to just apologize for my true audience members and true people on here who are to get value, but sometimes there's little kids, unfortunately, because I don't restrict this to people. I don't restrict my content to people that are over 18 only, because some of these lessons I teach I would have loved to have learned when I was 16 years old, right? And started doing the right thing earlier on. So I don't restrict the age, but obviously sometimes there's like little kids or immature people that come in here and want their little 5 minutes of fame, want me to mention their stupid comments or something like that and trying to get attention. But generally what I find is when people are doing things like that, they're certainly not doing any better than me. They're not more physically fit than me. They're not wealthier than me. They don't have a better family than me, and their life's not going as good as mine. They have all the time in the world to come and be a nitwit in people's live comments and things like that. So that's okay. I don't really shut them down. I don't really kick them out. I'm not that kind of guy. Hopefully they learn their own lessons and mature up a little bit, because what I like to do is come on the lives and help people. If I'm on here trying to just help people and be a good guy, and people have to come in here and spit some ridiculous comments, it just shows who they really are, right? And like I said, I've never met one yet that's doing any better than me. Never met one yet that's doing any better than me. Most people doing better than me are too busy and too mature and working on their lives, too busy paying attention to their lives and their families' lives to pay attention to other people's. Okay? So that's a lesson for people. Trolls usually trolls really are certainly never in a good place. How could they be if they spend all this time coming on just to try to berate somebody who's doing good and coming live and being vulnerable, right? They probably don't have a live show. They're probably not brave enough to show themselves on camera. Okay. And that's why they're in here talking crap. They feel bad about themselves physically, financially, spiritually, mentally, whatever it may be. And I feel bad for people like this Denny character. I feel bad for him, man. I really do. Gosh, that sucks, man. I do. I feel real bad, man. Sometimes I pray for people like that because it's like, what really are you doing in your life, folks? Are you doing anything good for yourself, for the planet, for your family? Do you have anything set up? Are you physically fit? What's your life look like, man? You come live. Yeah, you come live. No, you didn't strike a nerve, Danny. You didn't strike a nerve at all. If you've obviously never seen my shows, go back and watch a bunch of my shows, man. I like talking to you idiots on here. I don't mind it. So I'm not one of those guys where you can strike a nerve with me, bud. My life's going way too well for some idiot in a comment to get under my skin, Denny, but that's all right. And also, too, it's fun. I've helped you out because I've given you some attention on my show, which I chose to do on purpose. I don't have to mention your dumbass comments. I don't have to mention your name, but I've given you some attention. So I hope that helped your heart and soul today, that you got what you wanted. Good job, brother. All right. So anyways, guys, back to it. This is what I had to learn kind of the hard way. My mentor had to show me that, look, man, sometimes the first 6 out of the 7 essential resources are the most important. And if you can dial in the first 6 out of the 7 essential resources to go get a real estate deal done, you can go get it done. You can go get it done. And you guys can do it this year. So let me ask you this. What would you want to do, guys? What would you want to do? A lot of you guys know that I'm into note investing. Would you buy a note? Would you buy a physical, single family home? Would you try to buy multifamily? Would you buy like a duplex, a quadplex, an apartment building? Would you want to just try to go big right off the bat? What would you do? None of the messages are coming in, you clown. People are so stupid. But I'm curious, for those of you who are still regular people watching this, getting value out of it, what would you say would you want to get? Would you want to buy a mortgage note? Would you want to buy a small multifamily? Would you want to buy a single family home, turn it into a rental? I don't know. Maybe you've heard about the Airbnb game. What would you do? What would you do? Dexter's going to buy some notes. And we know we can do that this year, Dexter. We know that we can allow you to be the deal maker, find a good note, find the money, put the two together, and do a partnership like that. So we know we can get you to do that. Late wants some notes. Start with mortgage notes. Land. There we go. There we go, Taylor. Some land. That's cool, just as a mix-up. Notes, real estate, land. Small multifamily, beautiful. J-Man, small multifamily, absolutely. So then, guys, in that case, with Dexter and Taylor, Poncho, what do you have to do then to change where you're at now, if it's not going to be the money part? Because let me tell you something, guys. If you have your own money, you still need the other 6 essential resources. If you have your own money, you're still going to need that. Yeah. So guys, you're going to need to get the specialized knowledge, number 1. So you have to learn about the asset class. I hired a mentor. I got a mentor in my life, and I had to sell my house, quit my job, and do a whole bunch of things to get with this mentor. I made a lot of sacrifices in my life. So I wanted a teacher that had been there, done that, to show me the ropes to 10x the speed in which I could succeed in this game. So I got myself an actual mentor and did a lot of things risky in my life to be able to get it. Educate and earn while you learn. Yeah, you can do that too. You can do that too. But let me tell you something, guys. If somebody comes to me with $500,000 into my program, another person comes to me with $50,000, and another comes to me with $5,000. It's obvious that somebody who has $500,000 to invest has a head start over the person with 50. It's also fair for me to say that the person that comes to me with 50,000 has a head start over the person who has 5,000. Difference in zeros there. But I don't treat the 500,000 person, the 50,000 person, or the 5,000 person any differently. And here's the reason why. With $500,000 to invest, I could say help somebody buy 2 notes for 250 grand a piece, or 5 notes for $100,000 a piece. And we could deploy that $500,000 of capital they have very quickly. And of course, they have a head start, meaning they'd have $500,000 worth of assets now. They'd have some great passive cash flow starting to come into play, and they'd be on their way. Okay. Same thing with the person with 50,000. They would come to me with that 50,000, and we could help them buy 1 note, a good note for 50,000. And then they would have a head start over the person with 5,000 because obviously they'd have one $50,000 note already on the books, and it would bring in passive cash flow. The person with $5,000 comes to me and says, hey man, I got to figure out a different way to buy one of these notes because I don't have enough money to buy one. But the reason I don't treat the person with 500,000, 50,000, or 5,000 any differently in my community is because the person with 500,000, we deploy their capital really quickly when they come in. The person with 50,000, we deploy their capital pretty quickly. So the guy who had a $500,000 doesn't have any more deployable capital. The person who had the 50,000 doesn't have any more deployable capital. And the bottom line is, to create real wealth in life, you're going to want to generate a book of assets. So you don't want to go buy 1 note. That's great, but that ain't going to set you financially free. You want to buy several notes. You want to stack a portfolio of rentals. You want to have, and these things take to do more than one transaction, right? We're going to buy for notes, right? You want to own 30 notes or 50 notes in your portfolio, then you're set, right? But it's like you only came with 50 grand, so you have enough money to buy 1. You want to own 50 of these things. So what I'm trying to get at, guys, is it doesn't matter about the money. It doesn't matter about the money. Yeah, it's good to have some of your own because it gives you a head start over people that don't have any of their own. You can start investing your own money right away. You can start collecting some passive cash flow right away. You could even do a JV with somebody because you have the money and they have the expertise. And so the money does help. I'm not belittling the fact that if you have money, it's a good thing. No, it's great. But guys, real fast in my program, the person that came in with $500,000, the person that came in with 50 grand, the person that came in with 5 grand, they're all sitting in the same canoe with the same type of oar rowing in the same direction, all saying, hey, I'd like to buy my next note, but I don't have the liquidity to do it. So there's always going to be a time when we run out of our own liquidity. Some of us could already be there, but there's a time we run out of our own liquidity. And to continue building a portfolio, to continue building wealth and passive cash flow and buying more assets, we have to have the skill of raising other people's money. Now, the skill of raising other people's money comes from us having the 6 out of the 7 essential resources so that we can go to people that have the 7th puzzle piece. And we can show them that they can know, like, and trust us, that we have the education, the expertise, the know-how, the connections, the legal, the documentation, the due diligence practices, the exit strategies. We got all that dialed. All we're looking for is some money infusion. We can do this deal together. Yes. So most wealthy people use their skills, resources, access, political pull, and those things as their value. And their colleagues and their friends and other people invest with them. So they're able to accumulate a ton of money to go build a skyscraper in New York, a ton of money to go build a golf course community, a ton of money to whatever it may be, guys. And they're not writing the checks because they usually retain 6 out of those 7 essential resources that attract money. Yes, specialized knowledge is the first step. And Dex was saying, earn while you learn, right? So that could be a JV position for somebody who has money that doesn't want to go through a coaching program or find a mentor or learn that way, but somebody that wants to actually learn the asset class by being involved in the investment straight up. So that's when some people with money will go look for a good operator to a joint venture with them to be a partner in the asset class, them being the money and them being the expertise, because the money partner wants to actually learn how to do it while they're earning in a deal. So there's, 2 ways to learn. Put your money at risk and join somebody in a deal and see how it goes and learn School of Hard Knocks, or maybe even pay for some side education, join a group, a community, and get all the education without having to risk 50 grand or 100 grand. But having the 6 out of 7 essential resources makes you really valuable and really attractive to people that do have money to invest. Okay. So right now we're building that apartment in Florida. It's almost done. It's like 75% of the way complete, and give you guys the idea there, right? We're building an apartment in Palm Bay, Florida from the ground up. Raw land, then permitting and entitlements, then building the whole building and doing all this. And a 32-unit building, it's 2 stories. It's a monstrosity when you're out there. I didn't realize the magnitude of the job site. It's a big project we got ourselves into. So we're building this 32-unit apartment building out in Florida. I live in San Diego. We're on the other side of the United States, building apartments in Florida. This 32 unit building is about 70% of the way complete. We're almost done with it. It's at what we call the last mile when we finish it off and occupy it. But to give you the idea, guys, it's $6.5 million to build this apartment building in Florida, 32 units. It's about $6.5 million. Land acquisition, land entitlements, permitting and approvals, and build the building. About $6.5 million to build it. I certainly am not writing my own check from my own checking account for $6.5 million to go get the job done. Does that make sense to you guys? My team has the connections, the specialized knowledge, right? The team, the legal counsel. We have all the 6 of the 7 essential resources needed to build this apartment successfully in Florida. Okay? My team doesn't have to have the $6.5 million also of our own money in order to go do that. That makes no sense. We have the team, the connections, the political pull, the know-how, everything. We have everything in place to be able to build the apartment building. Why would we use our own money? It just doesn't make any sense anyways. Okay? Yeah, of course, that would, J-Man, that would have to do with, obviously, the specialized knowledge of that asset class. If you're going to go buy raw land and figure later on sometime you want to build something on it, we have to know the processes of the land, the zoning, how to get it permitted, if it can be approved for that kind of a thing. So that is that specialized knowledge. Yeah, absolutely. It is the foundation. Yeah, that's right, guys. So anyways, guys, family's a little bit sick. I just didn't want to miss today. I'm kind of a little under the weather. Family's not doing so good, so I didn't do any working out today and that. But I did want to not miss the show. I wanted to come to you guys because those 7 essential resources were really on my mind as we continue to raise capital. We had a commitment yesterday for $1 million investor. So that would be good news to you guys, right? We had a commitment yesterday. Somebody says they're going to invest $1 million into my fund. We had another commitment yesterday that somebody was going to put $150,000 into the fund, and another commitment yesterday of $200,000. So like yesterday, we had commitments of almost $1.4 million. Why are people wanting to invest money with us and my family fund? It's because we have the 6 out of the 7 essential resources in play right now. We've got the connections, we've got the know-how, we've got the expertise, we've got the team in place, we've got the political pull, we've got the approvals, we've got the momentum, we've got the contractors, we've got all that. That's what we bring to the table. And now people see what we're doing in being able to build these apartment buildings, which are profitable endeavors. And we are the ones that are able to put these things across the table, make these apartment builds profitable endeavors. That's our skill. And then people are saying, well, man, let me look at those deals. Let me look at these apartments these guys are building. What do the numbers look like? What's the city they're building in? And the money people are doing their own due diligence on our project, on where it's located, on who we are, on the process, on where we're at, everything like that. And a money person is doing their own due diligence to decide on their own, is this a good investment for them? Okay? Maybe somebody that's never going to learn how to build an apartment building. Somebody that's never going to learn, like we said, J-Man, about the zoning. Someone's never going to learn how to get the proper connections in a certain city and understand the permitting departments and the political and the city and the officials and the mayors. And that takes a lot to do. A lot of people don't want to do all that, or don't even have the ability to do all that because they're not outgoing, or they're not willing to put themselves out there. You guys get it. There's more introverts that have money to invest that are looking for the extroverts, so to speak, that are out there being the operators and trying to, take on all the risk and build all these relationships to get the deal across the board. So I hope that gives you guys hope, guys. If I were you, I would just start to get the specialized knowledge. I would start to link up with people that have already done it. Get in the community, get in the groups, start to ask the questions, start to learn the lingo, everything there is to know about that asset class that you want to go into. The specialized knowledge is going to be the foundation. Probably whatever group you get into, whatever community you get into, or however you get that specialized knowledge is going to start to bleed you into giving you guys the proper third-party vendors, giving you access to the proper legal documents when you do your first deal, and those kinds of things, guys. But when you maintain 6 out of those 7 essential resources, you become valuable to investors. You become attractive to people who have money. And so let's not always it be the fact, guys, that we claim to be broke, that's stopping us from making headway in this life. The fact that you don't have any money in your checking account means diddly squat to how fast in the next 3 to 5 years you can become wealthy, own assets, and become financially free. It doesn't have much to do with your money that you have. I hope that I kind of made that point today. Okay? I just want to drive that home to you guys. It's not about the amount of money you have or you don't have. It's more so about the amount of skills that you have or you don't have. Okay? So how can you go out there and provide more value to the marketplace? If it's a real estate investing category you want to mess in, you're really trying to figure out how you can go out there and provide more value to investors. How can you become valuable to people that have money? That doesn't have to do with your money. You don't become valuable to people with money based on you having money. Also, that people with money aren't impressed by people with money. Does that make sense? So how do you become valuable to people who have money? So that you can go out there and buy a single family home, stack a bunch of rental properties, buy a bunch of notes, maybe buy an apartment building, or maybe like me, build an apartment building from the ground up. How? Well, you guys, the whole thing we need to concentrate on, if we didn't come from money, we're not sitting on a fat stack of millions of bucks in our bank account. How do we then become financially free, successful in real estate space? Got to become valuable to people that do have money. You do that by covering all the 6 of the 7 essential resources, guys. Get your specialized knowledge of that asset class. Understand the due diligence processes. Start building relationships. Start understanding what third-party vendors you're going to need to get the deal done. Start doing trial and error deals without anybody involved to practice. Get a mentor on your side. Somebody who knows the proper legal documentation you're going to need and knows how to walk you through it. And do all that, guys, because that becomes very valuable. If you're a deal maker and you know where to get these notes or where to get these houses, where to get them, how to vet them, how to calculate the exit strategies, how to manage them, and you're prepared for all circumstances, and people can see that in you, and you're presenting good investments to folks, people will invest with you. Because again, there's a lot more people out here with money to invest than there are experienced operators. So if you become an experienced operator and you have 6 of these 7 essential resources, you then become attractive to people that have money because you can get these deals across the board. You have all the knowledge and the specialized tools it takes to get these deals across the board profitably, and you become valuable to people that want to participate with you financially and will trust you with some of their funds. Okay? You make win-win situation, guys, by being the operator, which is the hard part, by getting all the specialized knowledge and making all the connections and doing all that. You become valuable, so you deserve to get a piece of the deal, don't you? You're going to pay your investors that participate handsomely. They'll be happy, but also at the end of the day, you're going to be happy. Okay. And you can do these deals with none of your own money involved as long as you have the other 6 of the 7 essential resources. All right, guys. So yeah, sorry, I was feeling a little under the weather today. Probably not the most exciting show. Didn't get any workout in. Whole family's all sickened up and all that. But hopefully that gives you guys hope. My hope is that some of you guys realize that it's not about the money. The money will come. It's about you. It's about your skills. It's about your resources. It's about what you know how to do and what you don't know how to do. It's about the skills you've got in whatever endeavor you want to get into. So if it's notes, you got to go learn about notes somewhere, guys, and start getting the specialized knowledge in that first and foremost. If it's single family, multifamily, learning how to raise capital. That's a skill. That's something that needs knowledge base and teaching, okay, for people to get good at. So anyways, get off my little soapbox here today, guys, and I'm going to go back in the house and get some rest, relax a little bit, try to avoid getting sick like the rest of the family, but just wish you guys the best, and I hope that you all have a great weekend. I'm going to be right back here on Monday. Be right back here on Monday, hopefully feeling a little bit better, and we're going to do a nice workout and get back to it, guys. But have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy, be safe, and like I said, think about it, guys, as you go through this weekend. Think about, maybe Patrick's right. Maybe it's just the specialized knowledge and the connections in that I'm missing. But if I had the knowledge and I had the know-how and I knew how to do the due diligence and I just learned this stuff, it's all learnable, guys. If I just learned this stuff, like riding a bike, right? Then I could become really valuable to people that have money and start putting deals together, right? That's what I really hope for all of you guys who want to achieve financial freedom, right? Because it can happen quickly. It can happen quickly, but you guys got to be the one with the 6 out of the 7 essential resources you have to own and be able to prove you own. And then that way you can go out to people that have the 7th and you make some win-win situations here. So awesome, guys. Have a good weekend. Sorry about the ridiculous trolls or little kids who come in here and try to jack up the show. What can you say? But love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. Ciao.